How's it? I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. and welcome to the podcast that asks no questions and gives rarely gives answers. But anyway, hey, welcome you guys. We want to welcome everybody across the board. Now, things have changed a little bit with our demographics, just slightly though. And we want to say mahalo to the people who are on our affiliates. Now, when Jay told me about this, and he goes, "Oh, Unks, no, we're going to fix this, and we're going to redo the podcast, and you can get tons like choke more listeners, right?" I was kind of wondering like how he knew the term choke, but I was like, okay, he listens to me. Anyway, but so, and that's an old school slang, and so what we're seeing here now is that other is up to 12%. Okay, and that other is an indication of affiliates. That's just affiliates. So Anchor is very low. iHeart Media, actually 9%. That's pretty good. Web browsers, Spotify 17%. A lot of people finding us on Spotify. And yesterday somebody put it up on Facebook. Mr. Okada, if you're listening, bro, thank you very much for listening on Spotify. Apple Podcasts, 48%. So people are, I remember when Apple Podcasts was like, 80-something%, right? Almost 90%. There's like 85, 86, something like that. But anyway, and our solid demographics are 25 to dead. And below that, we have a sprinkling of youngins, young kids. Yeah. So, and I don't know why. I don't, like if I was 17, 18, 19, whatever, like early 20s, like I don't know why I would listen to this podcast. But, okay, here's your big fat butt, Hawaiians. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about relationships because I have been provoked. And actually, people have been hitting me up on my DMs on the Instagram side, and not so much on the Facebook side for this, but on the Instagram side, because these guys are younger. They're like in their 30s, they're like in their mid 30s, early 30s, kind of like Jay's age, kind of like your age. Anyway, so and they ask me questions. It's like, Unks, what we gotta do? Like, we like score chicks. We like, and very few of them want relationships. That's not what they're looking for. What they're looking for is a lot of fun, right? And I'm like, well, you have to know the rules if you're looking for fun, okay? Because I will open with this line, and remember this as long as you live, gentlemen, okay? Women can handle the truth. They just can't handle lies, okay? There you go. Now, can you be honest? 100% honest with a chick. Because I don't get graphic on the podcast, but I tell them straight out, like from the get-go. Because when they start talking to me, I tell them, hey, you know what? I just want to, and I leave it at that, right? And you know what? Not one female went, you know what then, sorry, I gotta go. Not one, Hawaiians, not one, okay? They all stayed, okay? And they all hemoed, okay? Eventually. It depends. Some women different, right? Some women, like, I remember this one chick, right? And you're gonna hear this a lot. You young guys, you're gonna hear this a lot, okay? And I think we're getting more women on the podcast because I'm honest with you guys. And the females are like, yeah, I'm glad somebody's telling them, right? You see? But yeah, I remember this one girl, okay? we don't out women on the podcast or anything like that. We're not, we don't name names. We don't even tell the stories in detail, okay? But I'm just saying, right? After that first date, like at the end of the first date, and it was early, it was like 10:30 because I went out after that. And it was like 10:30. And we were like standing there and she was going, I don't normally do this on the first date. And I'm like, okay. Because after a while, you hear this over and over, okay? And this is because, guys, you guys got to understand females, okay? You guys, a lot of you guys, right? You have to, when you're honest with a female, like, she will just start to open up to you, okay? She will start to open up if you don't judge her, okay? Don't judge females. Never ever. If you wanna have a life filled with females and like really nice, good quality females, loving females that will enjoy being feminine around you, okay? you got to do two things. First, you got to bring out your inner masculine, okay? Because that creates the polar shift, okay? Now, let me explain the shift for a second, okay? And then the second thing is you got to be honest, okay? But the first thing, okay? Now, the masculine thing, if you're standing around with your hands in your pockets, right? You're standing around and your arms are folded and you're crossing your legs when you sit, okay? I don't know if you guys saw the Will Smith picture with Jada, Will and Jada, the picture that's floating around social media, right? Okay, he's sitting like a girl. He's leaning into her. And she's spreading her legs on the, she's sitting like a man. She's sitting like a man and he's sitting like a girl. Now let me explain this polar reaction that happens between males and females, because I don't think you understand. There was this guy, last night on my Facebook, which was actually the point in which I said, you know what? I really have to explain this because more people need to be aware, right? He gave me this textbook. I put up a post from this celebrity, right? We're not even going to mention his name, but I put it up, right? And he was talking about, well, all you got to do is compliment a girl and make sure that, she knows that you're interested. And then you just hang out and she'll chase you. Right? And that's what he said. Okay, it was Morgan Freeman. I'll just tell you. Morgan Freeman, okay? Okay, part of that is true. Okay, part of it. See, but these guys are all betas. Morgan Freeman is a beta. Like straight up, backwards, upside down, like I can tell, right? Okay, so the only thing he's got going for him is his celebrityship, right? And his money. That's it. Okay, and when it's like that, you get a certain type of girls. Okay, you get a certain type. Trust me, trust me, I've seen it all. In fact, one day on the show, I'm going to invite Brother Sam on the show, and we're going to tell you guys some stories, some real life true stories. Okay, and you guys won't believe it. But anyway, back to the polar reaction. Okay, now if a guy is, let's say, vibing masculine, okay, the female has no choice. She has no choice but to vibe female, right? Okay. If a guy is projecting weakness, okay, she has no choice but to become the leader, okay? Now, this happens over time. And usually when people meet, right, okay, a couple things happen. The first thing you gotta be, savvy enough to do or whatever, is to understand a female's early frame announcement. Okay, I don't know if you know what that is, okay? But when you listen to a female for the first 20 minutes, she will give you an early frame announcement. That's what it's called, okay? An early frame announcement, okay, so I remember sitting down with this girl one time, and this was her early frame announcement, okay? Her early frame announcement was, I cook this guy's lunch. Like every day I made bento for him every day. So for you guys in the mainland, bento is something that it's a Japanese style lunch thing with rice and meat and chicken and fish and whatever. It's a lunch thing. Okay, so she goes, I made his bento every morning and I took care of him and I did this and I will never do that again. Okay, now this is first date, okay? And that was her early frame announcement, okay? Translation, don't ever ask me to do this crap for you because it ain't happening, okay? There you go, okay? You have to hear the early frame announcement. Now, sometimes it's more subtle than that because females are very subtle. But you have to understand the early frame announcements, okay? And when I was younger, in my 20s, right? Late 20s, early 30s, it went into my early 30s, Hawaiians. And I'm going to sit here and lie to you guys. It went into my early 30s, okay? Where I heard some things that I didn't pay attention to. And you have to pay attention to females. You really have to. Because they will come out, especially if they love you. If they love you, they will come out and they will actually say stuff to help you, to guide you to be better for them, okay? Because otherwise, they'll just leave you. But before they leave, if they're good quality females, they will try to help, okay? Especially if they're interested in you. Now, if they're not interested, if they're not into you, you know that expression, she's not that into you, yeah, then she won't do that. She won't waste her time, trust me. But here's the thing, right? What happens is, in an effort to please the female, the guy, okay, will start to soften, okay? And females will go through your brain and map you out in the first 2 to 3 months of a steady relationship or steady dating or whatever it is. She's getting to know you, okay? And she will remember all the little details and all the stuff that you say, okay? Now, you can come off as masculine and you can do whatever acting you want to do if you're not, okay? And you can just, like I prefer, I'm not an alpha male, I'm a sigma male. So my strategy is a little bit different. The way I, go about seduction is a little bit different. And I'm not so you could say that alpha males are the attention whores of the male community, okay? And then sigma males are more like, those are the uncles that sit in the back of the room and they observe. And those are the uncles that are kind of quiet and low key and they're not acting up. They don't want to be the center or the leader of a group of guys at a table. They're not like that. They're just cruising. And I used to hang out with another sigma male, and we used to go to this place, and it was crazy. Like sometimes we would work like 4 people at the same time, like 4 girls at the same time. I don't know if you've ever worked 4 girls at the same time, but there's an art to it, and it's not difficult. It's just, focus. It's focus oriented. You gotta focus. All right. But here's what happened when the guy starts demonstrating weakness. Okay. In addition to the girl going, oh crap, like another one of those, like a pleaser. Okay. Don't be a pleaser. Okay. Chicks are just, their radar is super, super sensitive. They are vibe conscious. They are vibe sensitive. Okay. So when you're even greeting the female for the first time, okay, what do most guys do? Girl walks in the room, the guy goes, oh, hi, Helen. They go high voice, right? High voice. All right, there you go. Okay, no. It's not like that. Okay, now when I go out on a first date, right, I don't even say her name when she appears. Okay, like out of a parking lot or whatever. She's, walking up to the restaurant. I turn around, I look at her, and I go, hey. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I open the door, and then of course I tell her, so it goes like this. It goes, hey, nice to see you. Come inside. And we go inside. Okay. Now I don't see her and I don't go like, hey, Rowena. I don't do stuff like that. Okay. Now, when you do that, okay, that's like a cold slap in the face to the emotions of a female. And she goes, oh, one of those guys again. Okay. Now, the thing about, the polar shift that begins to happen is if you don't take control of the situation right away and you don't lead right away, guess what happens? She has to lead because somebody's got to lead, right? So think of it that way if you want. But if you don't lead, the minute you stop leading, it's like taking the tennis ball and hitting it to the other side of the court. Now, that person, in this case, her, has to act on it. Okay. And she has to lead because somebody's got to lead an interaction. All right. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with, Newton's third law. Okay. But it is. It just is. And you have to, because if you go soft, she goes hard. And if you go hard, she goes soft. Now, I don't mean hard like you yell at her. No, you don't do that. This is not about abusing women. This is about being what women want, right? Instead of like wussing out, basically. Okay, so you guys have to hold your frame. You young men have to hold your frame. If you guys gonna be the monkey, if you guys gonna be laughing and joking around and, going high voice and doing all that stuff, okay, those are all feminine actions, okay? Walk into a club and observe and watch the girls and see how they act. And they're laughing, right? That little outburst that happens, like the girls that are laughing a little too loud. Yeah, like that. Okay. They're just drawing attention to themselves, okay? But that's how she sees you if you act like that, okay? So what you got to do, number one, you got to maintain your frame. And it's a job. Hawaiians, it's a job, okay? take it from unks, you gotta work. Okay? There's no such thing as getting that score for free. No such thing. Either you're gonna pay a lot of money, okay, or you can do them the other way. You can have her pay the money, but you better deliver, if you know what I'm saying. Okay? Because if you don't deliver, especially if she paid for you and you don't deliver, okay? I know some of you young guys are going, Unks, aren't you describing a gigolo? Yeah, kind of, sort of, guys, kind of, sort of. But here's the thing. Women have money. They don't need your money. They don't need you. Women don't need anything from you these days. Like zero, nothing, okay? So there was a lady that told me years and years ago, she goes, they need you more than you need them. And you know what? Years and years ago, that was true, okay? But chicks make their own money now, and a lot of money. I don't know if if you've ever heard of OnlyFans, okay? Chicks make money. And it's not just those kinds of girls, okay? There's girls that are in the professional world. There's girls that stay at home and bake cookies on Facebook Live that make money, okay? Or whatever. I'm just saying, Instagram, whatever. They've got their side hustle. They don't need you, okay? So my first advice, now ladies, to the ladies that are listening, before I continue with the guy talk, you ladies that are listening, take two pieces of advice from unks, okay? Number one, never, under any circumstances, depend on a man, okay? Number two, okay? No, I'm serious. Never, because, see, number two is never buy your love, okay? Don't buy your love, girls, okay? So never depend on a man, okay? Because, you know, men are only as faithful as their options. You know, right now, every girl that's listening to the podcast is shaking their head. Yup. Yeah. They're only as faithful as their options. So don't get me wrong. Girls do it too, okay? We're going to get to that later, okay? But I'm just saying, girls, don't do that, okay? And don't buy your love. There are so many girls, right? They go to college, they get the good jobs, okay? And they're down on Oahu, where I am in Hawaii. There's a place called Bishop Street. So they're down on Bishop Street in that fancy lawyer's office, and they're the, you know, whatever. They're the legal secretary or the office manager or whatever, and they're making a lot of money, right? And then they got this loser boyfriend, okay? And he's down at the beach surfing right now, okay? And, there's a lot of girls with bikinis on the beach, when he's surfing. And yeah, he looks buff because, yeah, that's his value right there. That's his value, okay? So Studley is down at the beach surfing, okay? While his girlfriend is working very hard, right? In the legal office, whatever, dental office, could be doctor's office, could be in the court, could be whatever. But she has a good job. And he's out playing, basically, okay? She's supporting him. And you see these guys because you see her driving like a BMW, right? And he's in the passenger seat and she's driving him around, okay? And we call those F-boys, okay? I want to keep the podcast clean because we've got people younger than 18 tuning into the podcast, okay? But I'm just saying, that's what it is. It is what it is. So girls, number one, don't depend on a man. Go do your own stuff. Don't believe the Prince Charming bullcrap. Don't believe the Disney. You guys grow up on Disney, you know, you wear the princess dress and everything, and pretty soon in your 20s, you think you're a princess. I see some princesses that weigh like, 260 pounds on Instagram, right? You know, basking in the sun. The only thing they're not doing is going, oh. Okay, never mind. It's a comedy podcast. Okay, we gotta slip something in, right? No, I'm just saying some, right? I mean, hey, you go on Instagram, all shapes, colors, sizes, races, whatever, creeds, everything, Heinz, everything is on Instagram, okay? And yeah, so those girls are there too, okay? And there's two types of women in my mind, in my world, in my thinking, okay? And those are the chicks that get by on looks, number one, okay? And those are the Instagram chicks. Those are the girls that can rock it, okay? And they can rock it like right into their 50s, Okay. And then slowly, slowly, you know what they do? They start hanging out with younger girls. They start hanging out with the young chicks, and and their strategy ultimately becomes trying to draw from that pool, because there's always that 25-year-old or that 30-year-old that wants to try the old lady that looks good, right? You know, the 50-year-old that's all tricked out, you know, from when she was married when she was 30, and the husband paid for the boobies, right? You know, that kind of thing. So anyway, but I'm just saying, right? Now, the thing you guys got to remember now, let's go back to role reversal. Okay, that's what it's called, role reversal. So your role, guys, okay, as men, is to maintain leadership. Okay, so you start leadership, you begin leadership, and you maintain leadership. It's a job. Now, if you're going to be sitting on the passenger seat next to the girl in the BMW, I don't know how much you're leading, okay? If you're leading that good and you're consistent at it, then God bless you. Then you know you're good, right? But here's my experience just talking to girls, okay? Cuz they we used to be up in my place at 1:00 in the afternoon, because I had a blacked out room, see? And I used to black out my room, and I used to go home for lunch. And sometimes lunch was, not just food. And anyway, so I used to go home, right? No, true story always. And the room was black, pitch black, dark, and air conditioned, right? And I used to go in, whatever. That was my room. Now, the reason why it was pitch black, it wasn't because I was, the motive wasn't like, okay, we're going to bring chicks, we got to make them black. No, that's not why. We did not need a dark room for women. Trust me, you can have, if the chick is interested in you, you can take her home to sun lamps. You can put sun lamps on in the living room. You can put them in the kitchen right there. You can just, right there. Okay, baby, there's the table. You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. I told you guys a story. One time I brought this chick home, right? She was one of the models from this contest thingy that we did. And I did some, it wasn't elaborate or anything, but it was kind of, out of my way to go get stuff. And she goes, you could have got me a sandwich. And I'm like, well, get in a room then. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, but I'm just saying, right? So that was my situation. And I had a blacked out room because I had to wake up at 3:00 in the morning and do radio. And then after radio at 10:00, right, I came home and I had to sleep during the day. Like, I had to take a nap. So it was just like, 10 to 2, whatever, I would take a nap and then go back to work, that kind of thing. That's why the room was dark. So, yeah. But if you want to create a dark room and air conditioned to bring chicks, well, it's up to you. And good luck with that, But I will tell you, there was one situation where we had 3-hour parking, which was crazy. 3-hour parking. Maybe that's another podcast, Hawaiians. But anyway, 3-hour parking, right? Okay, so do the math. 3, 6, 9. Okay, so it was like 3 to 4 chicks a night with 3-hour parking. Okay, I'll let you figure that one out. But that was off the chain. Those were glory days, man. I tell you. Anyway, so getting back to leadership. Now, leadership sounds easy, right? It sounds easy. But you know what? Leadership takes energy, and you got to keep your energy going, okay? Now, here's the thing, right? I got to do a podcast, right? So my energy has to be with what I'm doing, right? I listen to guys, I listen to guys out there doing podcasts, doing radio shows, doing whatever. I hardly listen to radio because I don't know who listens to. There's a couple guys listening to radio now. I'm just kidding about that. But yeah, it's going down. Television and radio is steadily declining. Okay, radio went down like 20 to 25% in the last 10 years, and that's a lot. That's a huge market share. But anyway, I listen to these guys and I hear that their energy is running out. And some of these guys are young. Some of these guys are in their 40s. And I'm like, what? They're running out of energy. Like they don't have energy. Okay, because they're not exercising. I don't know what they're not doing, but they're not doing it. Okay, and it shows in their delivery. It shows on their show, on their program, whatever they're doing. I mean, so yeah, you need to do that. Okay, it's the same thing with women. You need to be the leader. It takes a lot of energy. In other words, guys, okay, and I always say this, you guys go to work 8 hours a day. Okay, when you come home, okay, now if you have a side job, you got to go do that too. So you come home, you take a shower, change, whatever, you're down to your second job. When you come home from that, you still got to be a boyfriend or a husband or whatever, okay? Now, if you're a side salad, you got to be that too. So, I mean, that takes energy. Oh, trust me, always. Jeez. Okay, but yeah. So the thing about when I told the girls, men are only faithful as their options. Okay, so women are human. Okay, dude, you cannot look at women being these dainty little whatever. Okay, if you really need a clear picture of what women really are, okay, then you need to be backstage, okay, at a beauty contest, okay, and you need to see them rustle around for their shoes and their swimsuit. For the swimsuit, the sex, period. They gotta come out and model their swimsuit. Okay, you need to be backstage watching these girls before they get out on stage. That will give you a very clear picture of what women are. Okay, you get the whole nine. Okay, they're not what you think, but when they get on stage, oh man, they're that lovely goddess and right. Okay, but you guys got that in your mind. You have it in your mind. You're building this up in your head. This has nothing to do with her. Trust me. Okay, 80% of what you think about her, you made up in your head. You made the whole thing up in your head. You saw her in the club or wherever you saw her, right? Maybe it was grocery store, okay? You saw her checking out the oranges, okay? And you walked by and you saw her bend over to pick up an orange and you went, whoa, look at that. And then you started thinking, right? Now, how do men think, right? Oh, bro, I know what I can do with that. Okay, right? All right, that's what you think. Okay, so you start running these scenarios through your head, right? Oh, bro, I would take her to the hotel and take her to a fine dining, the kind, light the candle, everything. Oh, bro, I would do, okay. And then afterwards, bro, I would take her up the room. I would put rose petals on the bed. Bro, I mean, okay, you're running all these princess scenarios in your head, okay? And you know why? Because you're falling victim to the same thing she did, okay? But she was watching that Prince Charming crap too, okay? And she was looking at Prince Charming, okay? You was looking at Snow White and going, oh, bro, what I could do with that. I remember looking at Snow White when I was in 4th grade going, wow, yeah, if that was a real chick, bro, I would, And in 4th grade, I was running these scenarios in my head. I was like, wow. Like, I mean, so this is what is put into us genetically as men, okay? This happens, okay? And it's frustrating, okay? Because a man has a hard time making it from one end of the mall to the other end of the mall without going, oh, what was that? Oh, what was it? Oh, she's cute. Oh, look at that over there. See, we have a hard time, okay? I used to walk through the mall with this chick, right? And because I was going with this chick for a while, for like 5 years. And I was going with this chick. I had to look down in the mall. She was that possessive and that jealous, and and it's not like it would have been dangerous for me or anything like that. I just didn't want to deal with the crap, and so I looked down. I'm like, okay, whatever, and I looked down, and then I'm like, oh, bro, because years later, I think it was like 2 years later, right? Because I was a part of this thing. That's not a podcast, but anyway, a couple years later, right? I was going, oh man, I was being tested. Like I was being tested with that crap, right? And so sometimes, right, I would be tested by her, and sometimes I would pass the test. So sometimes I would fail the test, and then I would pass the test, right? And I'm not going to go into the passing or failing of tests, but I will tell you guys that chicks test you all the time, and they test you because they need to feel safe around you. They don't test you to play with you. They test you subconsciously. They test you. Okay, a woman will test you just like naturally, just off the top of her head. She won't even think about it. And she's testing you. Okay, I'll give you an example. So this girl I know, she's really hot. This hot girl, we were talking story one night, and she was telling me she started a new company, and she was telling me that she was describing what happened at this opening they had, and she goes, and this guy came to the bathroom, and the bathroom wasn't even working yet. So I told him, oh, go in the woman's. And he went in the woman's, right? And I looked her square in the eye and I go, you shit tested him, right? She laughed, and because she knew what she was doing, right? And she cracked up. She was laughing. Now, if you don't know, okay, let's use the word crap, okay? If you don't know what a crap test is, and yeah, so it's like, can you hold my bag? I need to go pick up those packages. Right? You're in the mall. Honey, can you hold my bag? I gotta grab that over there. Okay, that's a shit test. Oh, sorry, crap test, whatever. Okay, I know it is the other, yeah, whatever. But yeah, we try to keep the podcast clean, you guys. But that's a test. Okay, that's a test. You know, when you go to a restaurant and she goes, wait right here. I'm going to the women's room. I'll be right back. Okay, you better wait as far away from where she says to wait as possible. All right. Now, here's what I'm really telling you to make it simple for you guys, okay? You know what you think you should do with a female? Do the opposite, okay? Do the opposite, okay? You think you should, I don't know, put her on a pedestal? No, treat her like your bratty kid sister, okay? You think, like, okay, so I'm older right now, right? So I am allowed several privileges as an uncle. Okay, as an older male, okay, I'm allowed to be nice for the sake of being nice, okay? Now, when I was 40, I couldn't be nice for the sake of being nice. I had to be just straightforward and myself. You know how people say, be yourself? Okay. And you know how you think of yourself as a nice guy? Okay, you're not a nice guy. You're not. All these guys that come to me, so I do a lot of life coaching for these guys, right? And all these guys that come to me, they go, oh, but I'm really nice to her, and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And we get deeper into the conversation, and then I find out, oh, there's this chick at work that talks to him, and, da-da-da-da. So so he's not really nice. You see, okay, you think you're nice. You think you're being nice. You're not being nice. You're being fake, okay? Because if you're just being your real self, okay, and let's say you're listening to a conversation or you're listening to her talk and you don't want to listen anymore, okay? Now, if you're being yourself, you will excuse yourself and you will leave, or you will look at her and you will go, okay, why are we talking about this? That simple, Hawaiians. Okay, one more time. Okay, why are we talking about this? Right? I do it all the time. When I get tired of listening. Okay? Because if not, you know what you become? You become an emotional tampon. Okay? That's what you are. Now, women are, if you're doing that, that's what you are. Okay? I'm not saying like right off the bat you are. I'm just saying if you do that, guys will sit there and smile and take it and take it and take it. And I see that, and the chicks know. The chicks know they're doing it, right? And sometimes they're seeing how far you will go, okay? And these chicks are like fishermen, right? They will let the line out. They'll let that line go. And you're the marlin on the hook, just dancing in the water, dancing, giving them a show, dancing, jumping up outside. You see what I'm saying? All right. So now back to this thing that I was talking about earlier when I mentioned the Will Smith thing. Okay. Poor Will Smith. I feel for the guy and I don't feel for the guy. I feel for the guy in the sense that he did not study female nature before he met his wife, okay? The only thing he had was fame and money, okay? Now, let me say it again. Women do not need your money, and they certainly don't need your fame, okay? They don't need that. Now, in my case, did it help to be a male of status? Yes, it helped. Of course it helped. any male that has status. Again, that could be a uniform. Okay, that could be a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps. That could be a police officer. That could be a fireman. Okay, that's all status. Okay, because she'll compare that to like the everyday guy that she sees walking down the street, and there's a million of those guys. Okay, but there's not a million firemen. There's not a million policemen. There's a lot of them, right? But when these guys come along, okay, now there's certain things that they bring to the table. Policemen bring authority to the table, right? Firemen are usually really in shape when they're young, right? Because they got to do some really miraculous stuff. My nephew's a fireman. My nephew is cut, bro. He is cut. He's handsome. He's cut. He's young, and so chicks are going to look at that, right? And they see the uniform and there's prestige there. There's a badge. There's, whatever. So there's girls that like guys in uniform. There's girls that like military guys, and they'll hang out at the military clubs, right? Because they only date military guys. I knew these girls. There's this one girl I wanted to hook up with a long time ago, and we were, let's just say, friendly. Let's just keep it like that. Oh, it's friendly. Okay, it was friendly. I wanted to be a little bit more than friendly, and she told me, I only go with military guys. And I know why, right? I know why. Because of the benefits, right? Okay, so today, right, she's married to a military guy, and she has a bunch of kids. Okay, that was not for me, always. You see, sometimes when I see chicks, like after the fact, like years down the road, right, it tells you the story, right? And then I go like, oh, praise God. Thank you, Father God. Thank you for not like making that me, because I look at the guys, right? They're pushing the stroller to the mall and they're all salty. It's like, well, I could be surfing right now. I could be watching my MMA, but no, I gotta come to the mall and buy some stupid stuff. Yeah, you see, he's pushing his wagon, and I see these guys, right? And there's a I want to say a certain amount of resentment that carries, although he knows damn well he made the choice. He made the choice, okay? Now, when men make choices, most men, now I'm not throwing everybody into one category, neither am I saying most women, whatever, but most men make their choices based on physical appearance, based on physical pleasure, based on aesthetics, that kind of stuff. Females, small kind different, okay? Now, we were going to get into female nature a little bit. I don't want to get too heavy into the female nature because it takes a lot of background, and guys, especially married guys, do not understand female nature, okay? So for you guys that are not married, and these podcasts are for young people, you guys in your 20s and 30s, okay? If you're in your 20s and 30s, okay, the way marriage is right now, okay, it's a crapshoot. You got to know that. It's a 50-50, okay? Half of marriages do not work, okay? So you're rolling the dice, right? When you're going to say, I do. Now, if you're a guy that, some guys, I had this guy recently tell me, oh, I married up. And I'm like, yeah, you married up. And in my mind, right, I was like, beta. I was like, that's such a beta thing to say, first of all. But the fact that he thought it, the fact that it was in his mind, right? Oh, I'm married up. So his wife wore the pants is what he's saying. Okay, that's an early frame announcement saying, my wife is the boss, right? And there's a lot of men that's good with that. They're fine with their women being the boss. They're fine with it until the woman can't stand it anymore because she's the one filing for divorce. Chicks filed for divorce way more than men. Way. I know these chicks. I know these chicks. I mean, so anyway, but let's not get too far to the left, Hawaiians, right? But if you're in your 20s and 30s, right, and you're with, who you think is the girl of your dreams, God bless you. I'm happy for you. Unks is happy for you, okay? But here's the thing, right? If you're going to get married, you're taking a 50-50. If you're just a regular guy, say you're an accountant, say you're just you're just doing regular. You work at Starbucks. Whatever. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Okay, I'm not talking down. I love the guys at Starbucks, the people that work at Starbucks. That's my favorite place. Okay, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, as opposed to, okay, Jason Momoa, movie star. Okay, as opposed to fireman, policeman, military, that kind of thing, right? So you're not that. You're not an entertainer. You're not a famous artist. You're not a whatever. Those things that really stand out kind of thing, right? You're not a CEO. Okay, so you're just a regular dude. Maybe you work for the phone company, electric company, whatever. Okay, and those guys make good money. I'm not saying that they don't. It's not a money thing. Okay, it's a status thing. Okay, what is common and what is not common? What sticks out and what doesn't? Okay, that's status. Okay, so if you don't have status, or you're not particularly too high up on the status ladder, okay, then maybe it's okay for you. Maybe you don't need to think too much about it. Love that girl, go and take a chance. Roll that dice and see. It might have a good run. You might have a good run. You might not. But here's the thing you need to know, okay? If you're a guy right now, okay, working on your hustle, you're a guy right now building your company. You're a guy right now, okay? You're on your laptop and you're designing stuff. You're building stuff. You're building digital stuff. I build digital stuff every week, okay? If you're that guy, okay, don't get married. Don't get married, because guess what's going to happen? Okay, you're going to build all this stuff, and then she will help you build this stuff, right? And once you build it and everything's built, everything's running good, and she doesn't agree one day, guess what you're going to come home to? You're going to come home to, I want a divorce, right? And this is when guys call me for life coaching, right? And this is when they go, oh, bro, I got to save this. The last two guys I had, they came to me with the attitude like, I just want to save money. I just don't want to lose half, right? And that's why they came. They didn't come because, I love her and I need to keep. No. They were willing to let them go. I even talked to this other guy not too long ago. He said, well, yeah, this guy's, my wife has a boyfriend, and yeah, he's banging my wife, and and I'm like, whoa, like, but he was good with that because he had a girlfriend, and my response was, well, maybe it's cheaper to keep her because you got all this property and all this stuff, and maybe that's a better option, right? Because I'm not for breaking up households or all. I'm for patching things up if it can be patched. But before you make that decision, see, I learned early. I had an engagement that did not go well, right? And to me, there's two kinds of guys, right? There's the guy that learns. There's this guy that learn and plan ahead, okay? And then there's guys that keep doing the same thing. It's in their subconscious, okay? Because they don't train their subconscious mind. They fall into the same pattern, okay? Getting married is a pattern. Being a serial monogamist is a pattern. And they do it over and over and over. Now, when a girl does it, it's a little bit different. When a girl does it and she gets married we know an entertainer. Over here in Hawaii. She's probably a professional at getting married. I mean, over and over and over and over. And in that case, that's support. For a female, it's support. No, sometimes it's not financial support. Sometimes it's just she needs somebody there. Okay? She needs a leader. Okay, maybe that's it, right? And I'm not talking about that specific person. I'm just saying for a female, it's not always money. Okay, sometimes it's leadership. Sometimes they just need to be grounded. Okay, males ground females. Okay, females need male grounding as much as they think they'd like to grow some and whatever. Okay, and by the same token, okay, men need that feminine touch. Men need that femininity. Otherwise, it's like something's missing. Okay, the problem with men, and I'm skipping around here because I want to give you as much information as I can, okay? But the thing about men, right, and their biggest fault, okay, is they're looking for the kind of love that they felt from mommy. And mommy was their first love, right? So whatever they got from mommy, good or bad, right? They start looking for in a female. Okay, now that kind of love, because I know how that feels. I call my mom. She's still alive. My mom is going. She's still going, right? And so I call her up and I tell I love you. You know, I always end the conversation with I love you, mama, right? And I text her out of the blue when I'm thinking about it. In fact, maybe after the podcast I might text her again. I text her, I love you, mama. You know why? Because I don't want to sit there graveside one day crying like, oh, I should have told my mom. Hey. You know what I mean? Hawaiians, come on. Okay, grow some, call your mom and tell her you love her, right? And show her how much you appreciate her. I showed my mom. One day she came over here. We went to the hotel and stayed for a staycation. We did a beautiful staycation. We had, I don't know, a couple $1,000 in dinner. So I just, and it was my treat. It was me telling my mom, like, this, I love you. I appreciate you. This one's for you. This weekend's for you. Is all you. And we had a wonderful time. In fact, the picture that I took for that weekend is my caller ID for her on the phone because it was that special. Okay, now that's my mom. So with your mom, right? While your mom is alive, gentlemen, you will never, and I repeat, never, ever find that kind of love, the kind of love that you feel, the kind of love that you know, that first kind of feeling of love that you knew, okay, and that you probably still have and know. You're never going to get that again. And you're never going to get it in another female. And if half of the men listening to me right now, if that would sink in to you guys, like right now, okay, it would spare you guys a lot of headaches, spare you guys a lot of frustration, okay? It would spare you guys a lot of side salads because you're not going to find them, because men go, oh, maybe I can get them from her. I'm like, oh, shit, she reminds me of my mom when she was young. Yeah, maybe we're going to try that one. So, I'm just saying, okay? I know, more comedy in today's podcast. I know, somebody was talking to me about it, that's why, and they said, your podcast, bro, it's funny, bro. You unks, you get them, but you should make more comedy inside your podcast. It's going to be more fun for listening. So anyway, there you go. But yeah, so the thing about, looking for that female that reminds you of mommy, forget about it. I haven't done that for years, right? I met this girl a long time ago, and this was in the 90s. And I met this girl that reminded me of my mom. And I told her, I said, the only problem with you? And she goes, what? I said, you remind me of my mom. And, and that was it. I was attracted to her, right? And I had to stop myself and I had to go, bro, because sometimes you got to have a conversation with yourself. I'm just saying, you got to look in the mirror and go, bro, what the hell are you doing? You know what you're doing, right? Wake up. What you doing? Wake up, right? You gotta wake yourself up. Okay. And you have to know the difference. So sometimes discernment is everything. I'm just saying, right? And you have to be mentally strong, okay? And that's another thing. If you're going to lead a female, you have to have self-discipline. I'm sorry, but you have to, okay? I know discipline is an ugly word for some of you guys, for maybe most of you guys, but you got to have self-discipline. When it comes to work time, I push everything away. Okay, that includes partying, that includes going out, that includes everything. And it's work time. When the job is completed or the project is completed or the concert is done or whatever it is I have to do. I don't do concerts anymore, but I'm just saying when I did, right? When the work is done, the contract is satisfied. Okay, then pass me the bill right there. I'll have a cold one with you, right? But other than that, no, it's work time and you need that focus. One of these girls was telling me the other day, she goes, you really need to relax. You really need to go do stuff. I said, hey, I am happy doing what I'm doing. I mean, I get paid good money for what I'm doing, right? But I'm happy doing this is what I like to do. I like to jam. I love the challenge. I love to bring in money. I love to close a contract. I love to close a client. I love to bring in clients. I love all that stuff, right? And I hated that stuff when I was younger. My uncle's the one who practically had to twist my arm to do all of that, but now, it's my favorite thing to do and I just jam. So, and I tell the chicks that come around me now, I tell them, I say, look, there's going to be times where you just have to leave me the hell alone. And I need to sit down on my laptop and I need to work and I need to get this done. I'm up at 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning working, right? But I go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. I go to sleep at 8 o'clock. I wake up early. I jam, all day long. Then it's from like 2 o'clock in the morning all the way till 8 o'clock the next night. And it's just boom, 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 boom. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Now, yeah, maybe that's just me. Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe that's just my little idiosyncratic thing that I gotta do, But that's what brings me happiness. And that's what brings me joy, because I see the productivity. I see the results. I'm into tangible results. If somebody cannot give me, and that's why. That's another reason why you guys that are going to the bars and blowing your paychecks on the weekend that you get paid, you guys, because there's probably not that many of you, but maybe there's a few. If that's what makes you happy, go for it. Do it. Okay? Because you can have all those memories, you can have all that joy that's going to bring you happiness. Okay? But if you're waking up broke on Mondays, okay, and you're trying to get out of that habit, just know that takes self-discipline, and you got to focus for that, okay? And that's why I don't do it. I don't do it because I like to see tangible results for my labor, for my efforts, for my work, okay? And females love to see that. They love to see that you have something to show for your work, okay? If you're walking around and you just talking, because like I always say, there's two kinds of guys, right? There's the doers and the talkers. Bro, I know guys talking 30, 40 years, they still talking, and they ain't got nothing, but they still talking, okay? Because the problem with talkers is once they start... Oh, sorry, I gotta go. Yeah, you know what? It's better to be a doer than a talker. Any day of the week, Hawaiians, any day of the week. All right. Hey, we want to thank Brother Randy and Sister Jerry of Island Club and Spa down in Kaka'ako, my favorite location. Also, Voice Master, family of service companies. And Darren Chinen at AFMHawaiiMusic.com. He's doing a brand new show. So for you guys in Hawaii, you guys on the island of Oahu, you want to hire Darren, even on Maui, on Kauai, he flies to where you are. He does all that stuff. Check him out. It's at AFMHawaiiMusic.com. Till next time, I'm Junior saying, hey, watch the chicks now, okay? Take good care of the ladies and know your role, jabroni. Oh, wait, The Rock said that. All right, I'll say mahalo and aloha.